After 6 months living full-time in a van, we've learned what to pack and what to leave behind. In this episode, we're sharing the hacks, the mistakes, and the small items that ended up saving our sanity on the road.
And here at the Upshot Project, it's really important to us to recognise that we are travelling and recording on lands that have been cared for long before us. So we want to acknowledge the Larrakia people, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay our respects to elders past and present, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening in today. And we're back!
We are back after way too long.
Yeah, apologies, it's taken a little while.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot warmer these days. So, how are you going?
Good. I'm very warm and the warmth is really draining me. We are finally in Darwin.
Yeah.
And it's great. Love it, but a lot has happened since our last episode.
Yeah, there has actually been a lot of things happening.
Yeah, but we're going to dive into all of that in another podcast episode because today is a practical podcast episode.
Yeah, we thought we'd try something a little bit sort of more van related exclusively. So we're going to go straight into our van wins and van fails.
Yes.
So, what was your van win of, I guess, before we sort of really settled closer to Darwin?
Yeah. Van win? Oh, I don't know. I was ready for the van fail.
Okay, well, sorry, I'll flip around.
Yeah.
What was the van fail for you?
The van fail was because of the rising of the temperature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened with our electrical system, but the fridge kind of stopped working.
Yeah.
And it was like 35, 40 degrees outside. We really, really needed our fridge to work because it was full. We had milk, we had mayonnaise, we had cheese that melted. The cheese was really, really soft and it was gross. And we got scared.
Yeah, no, that was quite interesting. We had a nice little frantic time trying to put all that back together almost, trying to figure out what was wrong.
And I think we just understood that we probably need to change the other battery in the van.
Yeah, which is not going to necessarily be cheap, but I think it's definitely going to help.
Yeah.
So
for what's next.
Yeah, exactly.
And what about you? What's your van win?
The van win. So despite the rising heat, one of the things that we were having a lot of troubles with was airflow in the van. Mm-hmm. And we never really felt safe enough to sort of leave doors open and all the rest of it. It doesn't really help as well. There's a lot of mosquitoes.
Yes.
So I guess the win that I'm going for is the fact that we've now been able to stay at a caravan park up here in Darwin, and because of the location and all the rest of it, we're opening the back of the van, and we're able to put our like a spare mosquito netting that you usually use for like camping, all the way around the kitchen area, the back of the van, and it means that we get way more airflow in the van. We don't overheat too much. There is a lot of humidity and all the wind seems to die the second the sun sets.
Yeah.
But when there is a light breeze, you actually get to feel it versus like it just lightly caressing one arm. Yeah. You do get a bit more of that airflow. Mm-hmm. So I felt like we've not overheated as much as a result.
Yeah, because the van is a hot box in that temperature. I really thought that it was going to be better insulated in that sense, because I know that the guy who sold the van to us was like, oh yeah, even when it's warm, it keeps the cold temperature like inside. And I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah, now we're at that point where, we're calling BS on that for sure.
Yeah.
Which is, we have definitely woken up a couple of times throughout the evening where it's like we're just lying in pools of our own sweat, which is just, a wonderful image to have in your head first thing in the early hours of the morning. Yeah. But, I guess from there, I'm just trying to remember our structure because it's been a little while. But I think straight into the topics, right?
We dive straight into it.
Excellent.
Well, there's like the... where have we been to since the last episode? But I can't even remember where we recorded last episode. I think...
Probably should have prepped that slightly earlier before.
Might have been like Lara Wetlands?
No, we've done it since then. I can't
remember. Nah, it's fine.
Have we done it in the Northern Territory?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I guess the last time
we were in a different state. We were in Queensland for sure.
we were in Queensland, and it was around my birthday, because we're like at that beautiful little like river setting, and now we've travelled from Mount Isa, which is that nearby town, all the way through the centre of NT, through Mataranka, Catherine, Litchfield National Park, all the way into Darwin now.
Yes.
Well, actually, technically we're in Waggai.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been one hell of a story that we need to catch you all up on. Yeah. Again, for a later podcast.
And budget-wise, we don't know where we're at. We haven't calculated the budget in 2 months.
Probably more. I've been so, like it's such an overwhelming task because I know that it's going to sit me down for like a good 2-3 hours just going through all the numbers.
Yeah. But anyway, let's dive into our main subject, which is the main tips we gathered in the last 5 months when it comes to packing in a tiny space.
Yeah. And so basically I'd like to start it off with, so we've got like essential items, stuff that we want to sort of like skip or things that we realized were useless to us. Any organizational hacks that I know that you've definitely got amazing systems because that's the reason we're still alive. And I guess adjustments and mental tips after that.
Okay.
That sound all right?
Sure.
Cakes. So, essential items, one of the things that I know was a huge improvement, particularly for you, was that little bloody vacuum.
Love the vacuum. $50, Amazon. It's a handheld vacuum. You charge it with a USB-C port, and it's great. It's powerful. It sucks. It blows.
Struth almighty.
It does all the things.
I guess that is vacuums for you, but we're not going to go down any of the innuendos.
No, but like it's just, I really like that vacuum because especially going through the outback, a lot of dust was just accumulating in the van, and having that little vacuum every like couple of days or a week just to zoop, zoop everything and to feel like our space isn't just dust. Yeah. You know, it's a living space where we feel healthy and we breathe well. Yeah,
I hear that. But also a feature that I didn't realize I was going to sort of add to this is the fact that when we were particularly down in Victoria and I guess closer to Eden and around there, there was a lot of flies. There was a lot of flies.
Yes.
And so it was the fastest and easiest thing catching all these guys because they're in a confined space, but you can't
at night. So you mean like in the evening once we're in the bed?
Yeah. So there was like I remember sort of doing a rough estimate of about 30-40 flies just buzzing around our heads, and this vacuum just and we just let them out in the morning. Just let them out and it made it so much easier to sleep. Do you have any other ones? Because that was like obviously the first one.
Other what? Sorry, I'm forgetting.
Other items in the van.
So I forgot the question.
What other items in the van have we found to be like we can't really live without?
Yeah. So that's what the heat does to me. Like I just don't listen.
That's explained so much.
Other items, the wipes, the cleaning wipes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the cleaning wipes, just easy. Take it out and just shoop, shoop, wipe your surfaces. You don't necessarily need water.
Yeah.
Really like, and it doesn't take much space.
No.
Either, really like it.
Just on the wipes thing, the baby wipes has been a lifesaver at times where showers are practically non-existent.
Yeah.
So, and if water's quite scarce and we don't want to sort of use that, the baby wipes has been a really good plan C.
Yeah.
And it's sort of kept the hygiene up as a result. So I think that's been amazing.
Foldable sink?
Yeah, the foldable sink.
Does that go in this section?
Yeah, because they're specific items. We're looking at items here.
Yeah.
And that sink, because it literally is only slightly thicker than the actual board that it's on, means that it slides in and out. You don't have to worry about it.
It's great. It's great because, again, it's portable. So if we are lucky enough to have water on the campsite, we just clean our dishes away. So we take the sink, bring it over there. Like it's not like stuck to the van.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And it was cheap.
Yeah. I think we actually got it cheaper because we added extra things to it. I think that's the way Kings work. It's pretty amazing. Go to Kings. They're good fun. But on top of that, actually having the sink and the dish rack means that we've got, like, if we've got, say, a few pans and a pot and a few plates, it means that we've at least got all that portability as well. Yeah. And it's just made it so much easier doing dishes.
Yeah, because at the beginning, the first trial we had with the van before we did the fit out was just this big bucket. Remember?
True.
And we were cleaning dishes in that.
And foldable bucket.
It was a pain in the ass.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why it was such of a pain in the ass. Like, it's the same concept.
It is the same concept, but I think, one, it's considerably bigger. Two, you don't have two things.
Yeah.
So you don't, like, wash and then you can sort of have the rinsed over here. It sort of all still stays in the same spot, and it can be quite a tricky process. But, yeah, and I think certain things like just trying to think of, like, one of those amazing things that we've always... Oh, I guess having, like, a first aid kit is kind of a necessity. Not that, thankfully, we've used it, but...
First aid kit, the fire extinguisher, and also the fire blanket. Yeah. All at the back. And, well, to be fair, we don't have access to it when we're in the bed. When
we're in the bed, no. But the fact that it's there means that we are just that much safer. I mean, obviously, it'd be great to just sort of have fire extinguishers everywhere, but it's not going to look good. Now we do have a lot of little things here and there. I mean, the packing cells as well, but is it like in your next it's sort of more in the organization things, but okay, your glass case we have at the front. So it's quite big. We put Hayden's glasses in it, but we put all the charging cables as well that we don't know where to put, but we're using quite often. So it's just a nice, tidy place to have. And then we put that case in the glove box. And since we've done that, honestly, such a difference. Yeah, I didn't expect it to... I actually did it as... like without trying to create a system. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just sort of stuck, and it just seems to have stayed that way. And it's really good because, again, I know where to look for cables. Yeah. If there's cables that I need extra of, I know that it's underneath the van in a separate place, but because it's so easy to access, a glasses case. Didn't expect that to be one. And I reckon, having a sort of like a lantern that doubles as a Mozzie zapper. Yeah. I mean, the Mozzie zappers, since we've come north, has done less and less. I feel like the creatures up here are just hardier. Yeah. But particularly down south, it was getting rid of a lot of the Mozzies, and the vibrancy of that light is awesome. Yeah. So I definitely, on top of having a head torch, which I seem to have lost somewhere. Yeah, it was free from Kings as well. I know, and it was the best one that we've had. And I cannot find it anywhere. It's frustrating. Yeah. But... yeah, head torch and definitely the lamp. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of like... we have so much like small things, it's great. But being in a 4x4 particularly, having a pump for the tyres. So that's like, it's a little clunky because you got to power it via the battery in the car, which means you have to lift up the passenger seat to get to the battery. Yeah, because we are like, the car is a flat nose. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so we've got to go inside the front cabin to get to the battery. But... having said that, it's been a nice thing to have as a backup. As a backup. Again, similar to the first aid kit, I'm kind of happy we haven't needed to use it. We probably should have used it on one or two of the trails that we were on. Yeah. But you know what else we haven't used, but we bought recently? It's the... PLB, Personal Locator Beacon. No, not that. Oh, I reckon that should definitely make the list. The beacon too, but the battery charger... oh, the jump starter. The jump starter, yeah. Yeah, actually it's so compact. I mean, we have used it once, but it wasn't ours because we didn't have one back then. Yeah. So, we couldn't turn the car back on because Hayden forgot to turn off the headlights. Yeah, I kind of wanted to just own that versus you sounding like you blamed me, but yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I know. I take the blame. I take the blame.
Talking absolute.
Absolute. Nah, exactly. But seeing how small it was, and it was from Kings again.
Yeah.
They should sponsor us.
They should sponsor us.
100% buy so much from there. But yeah, that's awesome because it also doubles as a pretty shitty torch, but the USB port,
yes,
like because we've been able to like charge phones if the car is overheating.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that thing is good, and it wasn't too expensive. It was like $80.
I think it was less.
Yeah,
I think it was like 70
because it was on sale.
Everything
or something.
On sale.
Yeah, honestly, like that was great, and the beacon. $400.
Yeah,
and that what did you say when we bought it? Like it's the first time you buy something, especially that expensive, in the hope that you're not going to use it.
Never use it, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you register it, and the cool thing is this particular one you can go overseas with it, which I did not expect.
That's super cool, though.
But yeah, I'd say that those items definitely make a huge difference when it comes to like just feeling more safe, secure, and also feeling like you've got more control over the van versus everything inside just mentally straining. The next one I think was organisation.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but it is now.
It is.
So organising.
Yeah, so how we organizing ourselves in this tiny space.
Yeah.
And the tips and tricks, basically.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes into mind is drawers.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you go.
Sorry. If you're thinking of renovating your van and you're like, oh, we're just going to get boxes, don't do it. Don't do it. Get drawers instead of putting all of your gear in boxes and all of your clothes in boxes and containers. Like, don't do it. It's going to be annoying. We've seen other people do it. That's what we wanted to do. We've been told not to do it and have drawers instead, and I'm really, really, really happy to have followed their suggestions.
Shout out to Tori, because that was literally the her recommendation. She's like basically outlined exactly how terrible an idea it was to put everything into tubs. She's like, you have to pull it out if it's raining, like, you know, you got to pull tubs out, it's on the wet floor.
True.
The drawer, so much more sense.
Yeah.
So much more sense.
Yeah, for clothes, for kitchen, we only have those two drawers, but like honestly, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it was a pain to put a bit more money into it because tubs clearly are way cheaper.
Yeah,
but I guess the mental stress of having to deal with reorganizing the underside of your van every single time, every day,
and more than once a day, you know. So no, honestly, and in our clothes drawer, we organized everything into our packing cells. So I have my packing cells, 5 packing cells for my clothes, and Hayden has 4.
3.
I
have 3.
Yes.
Don't try.
You only have 3?
I only have 3. I only have 3 packing cells. That's why I'm like, you've got so many clothes. No, I don't. But having said that, it's so great because we're so used to packing cells having traveled a bit that it was just almost an easy transition putting it all in there.
Yeah. And like for the kitchen, organizing the kitchen, honestly, we don't necessarily have a system when it comes to organizing, especially the drawer in the kitchen. Of course, we put the things that we use the most at the front and things we use the less at the back, like the
big salad bowl.
The big salad bowl, containers, the cans.
Yeah. I think
that's pretty much it.
But yeah, so we put obviously like all the utensils in their own little container.
Yeah.
So that was a little Target or Kmart bamboo boxy thing. And they're a little fiddly, but for the most part they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, it works. It works all right.
And
for the knives.
Oh,
having, how do you call them?
Knife guards.
Knife guards. Oh my god.
Yeah. Basically like a little slide-on sheath for the knife, and it protects the blade. It protects you, because I'm very good at finding ways of hurting myself, and I've found that has just saved our fingers so much. Yeah,
definitely, and it just makes sure that your knives are still in good condition, which is it's important for us anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
When we cook, it's already a pain in the ass to cook outside, to cook in a van. So just making sure that at least it's efficient and cut stuff and you're not getting angry every time you want to cut a tomato and it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. But going into other sort of more bags and stuff, there was, well, like we've got other, again, Kings. We've got like little sorting, they're basically bigger packing cells, but we use that quite effectively, I think. We've got like one for laundry, and then we've got one for your loose ends.
Yeah, my loose ends, one's for Louis.
And then my loose ends. So that way it's...
And we have one for like important documents that we keep at the back.
Yeah, exactly. And just having that, I guess that ease of access, you can literally grab and pull out versus have everything fall out.
Yeah.
Or having a huge bag that just has everything. It just makes it so much more dynamic, would you say?
Yeah, I would say. Like, with the tiny space we live in, I think that we've made the most of it. You also have a shoebox
I knew you were going to say that. I was very happy.
So Hayden really wanted to bring a lot of board games, cards.
A lot of games.
Yeah, a lot of games. And so Easy just took a shoebox and
that's the full confines of my games, which it's slightly starting to bend.
Yo, there's no more space in it.
That's what you think. But I've definitely found that to be really good, and it's made it so much easier because I don't have to have all the games mixed with all my random stuff as well. And then there's not like bits and pieces all over the shop. So yeah, having little containers that can stay in the one spot makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
And I guess in the front, there's not too much in regards to organising. We do have clothes racks that hold up the umbrellas in the front.
They're not racks, they're more like hooks.
Clothes hooks, yeah. That hold up our umbrellas, which has actually been surprisingly useful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because it keeps it a bit tidier around the back of the seats, because that can, particularly when we've been on the road, we've had bottles and stuff like that stored back there.
A lot of things,
Declutters.
Yeah.
And
of course...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, go for it.
Your little, the things that are hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, so I've got little, like fishnets.
Yeah.
Like fishnets, little bag. Not bag, but...
Yeah, a mesh bag.
Mesh
sort
bags.
of mesh bags that are hanging from the ceiling.
We're going to get there. Like mesh bags that I've got one on my side, on my feet, and one on Hayden's side. One on Hayden's side at his feet as well. So that's where we're keeping our hats.
Hats and sunnies.
Well, for me, it's mostly my hats, a little...
air horn.
Just
which
in
thankfully
case.
we've not needed to use to scare away people.
And like it's just extra storage. It's not necessarily in the way just when we're making the bed.
But because they're sort of hanging and they're loose, it's not like they're solid.
Yeah. But also like in the kitchen area, like on the counter, what I've done is I've bought little containers and I've put Velcros on it.
Yeah, you did actually. Keep them stationary.
Yeah, so that way, when we're driving the van and turning, not everything moves at the back. It stays in the tub. So we have a little container for everything that is oil, vinegar, soy sauce, and all that stuff. We have one for like honey.
I guess our sort of spreads, like Vegemite. And,
that don't need to be in the fridge. Then I got one tub for the... toiletries. Which is actually, because the toiletries are up and like on top, and because they're in a high enough container, it means that, one, all the things are obviously in the same space, but also they're not falling out. Yeah. And also, I'm not going searching for them every single time. No, it's easy. Like, honestly, I'm patting myself on the shoulder because it was a really good idea.
No, it was a really good idea.
Yeah. And all the stuff that we're not necessarily using regularly, it goes under the counter in, again, little small containers, like things we might use once every week or once every 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it just, if everything's sort of got its own sort of space, it makes it easy.
Little spice rack.
Yeah, true. Spice and tea. They're on that side.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Like we've done very, very well when it comes to organizing that space.
Yeah. And I guess sort of in reflection to that, how many things did we start out with that we no longer want, use, or literally got rid of within a few weeks, months?
We brought too many blankets, too many towels. What else did we bring that we didn't?
I think a little bit too many clothes, or at least for me, I've still got shoes.
Yeah.
I've got 2 pairs of running shoes.
Oh, talking about shoes, we did buy a
shoe bag.
Like, it's like kind of a shoe bag, and we put all of our shoes in it, and we put at the back of the, like, it's pretty useful because it keeps all the smell inside that bag.
I thought of that.
Inside that bag as well, so really, really
and also it means that all your shoes aren't necessarily scattered everywhere.
Yeah, it keeps things clean.
Yeah, basically enough bags, but not too many bags, because we also found that I think we brought 1 or 2 extra big bags.
It was like tote bag, a bit everywhere.
Yeah, there was like, you'll end up finding your rhythm, but it was like there was just too many things inside the van.
Yeah.
And I think, we had too many plates, we had too many bowls.
Sure.
And one of the things that I was kind of sad about, but totally understand it now, is there's no point having ceramic mugs.
Yeah.
Because you're always outside for a start. Mm-hmm. So I guess if you've got an indoor living space for a van, maybe you'd find that better. But being outside so much, there's a higher chance it's going to break. I mean, you literally bumped it when we were walking along a beach against my own mug, and it just snapped in half.
Yeah, but not only that, like, it keeps things warmer if you just have a travel mug.
Yeah, keep
cup.
Keep cup. Yeah, keep cup.
Keep cup.
That has been a game changer as well, because they're easy to clean if you get the right ones, and then I guess it's also it just keeps things colder or warmer over the time that you have it. So,
like, I reckon if you're planning like a big trip like that in a van, I would, like, it wasn't our original plan, but I would highly recommend to, after a month or 2, go back to your base.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah,
Go back to your base and do the inventory of what you've used and what you haven't used in the last month or 2 months on the road.
Yeah.
It has really saved us, because some stuff that we brought, we didn't want to throw away. Oh, we couldn't send.
Yeah.
So it was really good to go back to your parents' place, put back the stuff we were not using, like my lemon juicer.
That's it, yeah. So I had this big, like, I don't even know what you call it, big wedgie.
Yeah, like a lemon juicer, like in ceramic and stuff.
It was so annoying.
Because we didn't even juice a lemon.
No.
At all.
No, we didn't. But there was, what was the other thing? The mosquito net.
We brought so much mosquito nets.
Because we were so indecisive on how we wanted to design a mosquito net for the van, to the point that we bought too much netting, and the netting didn't work for our 3 or 4 original designs. We've changed it, and then Sol was so sick and tired of the mosquito netting that she ended up just leaving all of the mosquito netting back in Sydney.
To be fair, when we go back to Sydney for Christmas, we could bring back some.
Oh, true. No doubt.
To do another, like, a window mosquito net and one at the back,
Yeah, that would actually be awesome. That'd be really good.
Yeah. Anyway.
We're figuring things out on this podcast as well, just saying, eh? And I can't really think of too many other things.
What was your question? Would you recommend to bring too much stuff?
Oh, is it better to overpack or underpack?
Yeah.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, I'm asking you your question.
No, you're asking me my own question. So I reckon
I think we should count 1, 2, 3, and, like, at 3, or after 3, we say our answer: overpack or underpack.
Okay.
Let me think about my answer. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Underpack. Ooh, nice. Nice. Yeah, even though I definitely have a tendency to overpack, and I think we both do.
Yes, for different items.
Different items, yeah. But I've realized that if a situation rocks up, if all of a sudden you need an extra jacket, it's fairly easy to get one. Yeah. And by that I mean, like, going to Vinnie's and not spending a fortune at a brand new spot. Yeah. So, like, compared to having 3 hoodies, because
And then you really like that hoodie, but you know you don't need it, but you don't want to throw it.
yeah.
So
Or
you
like
have
having
to
a
keep
really, really nice
Yeah.
hoodie. Like I found that all the really nice stuff, so like good leather shoes
Yes.
and, you know, more formal-esque / higher casual gear, it's going to get damaged so much faster in a van.
Yeah.
There's no point. Hit up Vinnie's, get like,
Yeah.
you know, the bare basics. Or just accept the fact that everything that you've got in the van is going to wear out a lot. Well, not a lot quicker, but...
Well, in a way, yes, because like when you don't do laundry as not carefully, but you don't care. Like you're gonna.
You can't care, almost.
Yeah, like you're gonna mix all the colors together. You're gonna put them in the dryer more often than if you're at home and you're just going to hang them outside to dry. And you know, all of those things are damaging the clothes faster.
Yeah, especially if they're thrown all in the dryer.
Yeah, and especially like our dirty laundry bag that we put on top of the van, it is not waterproof. I don't know why, but it's not working and it's not waterproof. So when we put our dirty clothes on top in that bag, it gets wet, it gets smelly. Like, of course, it has an impact on the quality of the clothes to just like marinate in the wet and the those smell, you know?
Oh, that's such a good word. Just soak it up.
Yeah, it's gross. It's so gross.
Yeah, it especially is if there was like a huge rain and you put what is dry, dirty clothes in there and you're putting it on top of wet clothes.
Yeah, no, it's gross.
Oh, that's so fair. That's so fair. But I guess now that we've travelled literally from the southernmost point of Australia to the northernmost...
Yes, crazy.
Saying that sentence out loud, it's insane.
Yeah.
To the northernmost major city. We've experienced a lot of different climate. And in doing so, we have had to adjust a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like we've adjusted fairly well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like packing the van, it almost felt like overpacking was slightly better down south. But the second it got warm, useless.
Yeah. Yeah, but then we found a way, like the things like our big hoodies we just put at the back of the drawer, at the back of the van.
Yeah.
Our jackets we just put, I don't even know where I've put them, like in the back somewhere where...
I think it's on top of the drawer of the kitchen at the the most inaccessible spot.
Yeah, but I think that a recommendation I have, if you know that you're going to experience a lot of different climate, is to pack with layers.
Okay.
Meaning, don't pack your beautiful long warm shirt that you're only going to wear when it's going to be cold. Like, I mean, it's the same recommendation for when you travel with your backpack. It's layers.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to keep warm, you just add layers on.
Yeah.
But layers that you can wear individually as well.
Yeah. So basically, in a way, not doubling up the same thing. So if you've got two hoodies, that's useless. But if you've got a small fleece and a hoodie, they can layer a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we had one big jacket, the hoodie, and then I guess I had a fleece, and I think you had something else as well.
My turtleneck.
Yeah. So I think, layers is actually a very good call. I like that.
Thank you.
I think we have adjusted fairly well to different seasons as a result.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Down south, though, I did not have enough layers, I don't think.
I think you bought some.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
It was too cold.
I forgot gloves. Never thought I would have needed gloves in this country.
That was one of the times where overpacking for me helped you.
Yes.
Because I put them in going, maybe.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
it was cold. It was very cold.
There was a couple of times where it was freezing. But now that we're in warmer, literally shorts, T-shirts.
We're using the same 5 shirts every week.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And I guess finally, one of the major points that I have learned, I guess through my time living and loving Seoul, is systems do work. And a van will tell you very, very quickly what systems do and do not work.
Yeah.
So I am terrible at creating a system that I will stick to.
Yeah.
You're very, very good at making sure that if a system is even remotely slightly working, it sticks.
Yeah.
And
makes your life easier.
As much as it's a headache for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's also it's more of a headache if it's even messier.
If you don't have a system.
If you don't have a system.
Yeah.
So having the packing cells, I think, was sort of a mutual understanding that was going to be the case.
Yeah, we were used to it with traveling so much anyway.
Yeah, but then like having, like say, closing all the bags that you open, making sure that if you've cleaned it, you put it away.
Yeah.
Basically making sure that things are kind of done a little bit more
efficient,
promptly.
Yeah.
So you're not leaving too many things around.
Yeah, but you're right. I think like systems are very important in a van.
Yeah, I mean systems generally, yes.
Yes, but especially there, because if one thing is messy, your whole living space is messy.
Yeah.
You know, and everything can get in the way of anything you want to do next in that van.
Yeah.
You know,
and I've definitely found that if the systems are slightly altered, accidentally, and I have put something in a bag that I think works at the time, but it's not necessarily its spot. It's now going to take me ages trying to go through all the different bags, particularly if it's literally the bag at the back.
Yeah.
So, having those systems in place, and I guess trial and error with what works, but not being so fluid that all of a sudden everything kind of works and everything kind of doesn't. Sort of having.
What do you mean?
Like if I keep going, but this sort of worked this time, I'm going to like leaving the toothbrush here made more sense this time round versus in the the toiletries box.
Okay.
So if I wanted to leave it more, say, above the bed, for example, like, okay, it worked that time, but now it's fallen, it's now dirty. And basically I'm saying, keep to your systems. I'm blabbing a little bit, but sort of keeping to a certain system versus trying to readjust every single time because it's a bit annoying at the time.
So you're saying if a system works, stick to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is how you ADHD yourself around a conversation without saying the wrong thing. Case in point. Not the topic I wanted to talk about, but we got there.
Yeah.
And I guess going into more of the reflection of discussions. I guess in regards to systems, do you feel like our style and systems have sort of changed over time?
Yeah, definitely.
How so?
How? I'm trying to figure out how. Well, first of all, the system has changed because the weather has changed as well. The temperature has changed.
Yeah.
But also, if you live in a van, you will have to adapt. And if you live in a van, I think it means that you are an adaptable human being.
Yeah.
You know, so your systems will need to change.
Yeah.
With the place you're being for either climate reasons, security reasons, terrain reasons.
True.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
I know that I'm definitely asking the right person when it comes to organising.
To get off. You know, I can make some mistakes as well. But yeah. You go.
Well, I've been asking I asked the last question. You go.
I mean, do you reckon... I think we've shared all of our knowledge that we learned in the last couple of months when it comes to tips for packing and everything.
Do you feel like there's anything else that we've sort of left out? Like any sort of tips that we would say, whether it be to ourselves the very first time we started or just someone else that's traveling for the very first time in their van?
What's the question?
What other tips do you have for someone who's living in their van for the very first time?
By everything that we mentioned. Say.
Literally everything?
Oui.
Right.
Ouais.
Is there anything is there anything that we missed?
I don't think so. Probably, but I don't know.
Okay.
Like if you have any recommendations that, you know, we didn't mentioned just yet, just leave a comment and we're going to be very happy to read it.
Yeah. Actually, just quickly, having a roof rack and having a extra storage of a box on top does make a bit of a difference, particularly in a van this size.
Yeah.
Any bigger, there's probably enough space inside that you probably won't need that extra space. But having a roof rack on top really can make a huge difference because you're able to take so many more things that you wouldn't necessarily want to put inside the van.
Yeah.
So we do have our mat, our outdoor floor mat that sort of gives a bit more of a walking space on top of the roof. And we've also got surfboards and stuff up there as well, which means it's a bit more dynamic. But again, they're not inside the van. They're not making everything else
Exactly. Yeah. Not as good. Good finally.
Finale.
I
love your accent.
Thank you very much. Hey, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you want more episode about tricks and tips about van life, just ask away and we'll try to do more.
Yeah, exactly. But until next time, guys, thank you very much. Like, subscribe. We'll catch you later. Ba-doomps.